All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 271. We're on location and we've got some special guests. We're actually here at St Andrews Fairmont Hotel. We have had an action-packed week. I don't know if I've ever filmed so many videos in just 3 days. I don't think I've ever... you know what? I don't think we've said enough. Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
I don't think we said that enough times.
It's very true.
We should have said that a lot more. We said every shop counts more than we said like and subscribe. Guys, we are here as part of the Sebon Golf Invitational. It was an unbelievable event. Yes. And I'm joined by the four bros.
Hello.
The four brothers.
How are we doing? Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's been awesome spending some time with you fellas. We've got Paddy, the older brother.
Yes.
We've got Ronan, middle brother. I know it's 4 of you total. And then Deck, the baby of the family.
The best looking one.
Wow.
The baby. Just the baby.
Debatable.
Now, guys, if you have Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Snapchat, these guys have been dominating the golf comedy scene. Like, it has been, honestly.
That's a big compliment, right?
Yeah, well, you have, because I think to try and blend comedy and golf has got to be one of the hardest things to do in the world.
Yeah.
But you've made it relatable. You've made it incredibly funny. I think that the way that you all gel together and the fact, obviously, you are brothers. I think, honestly, I can't compliment you enough. We actually, a couple of episodes ago, I actually gave you a shout out and I spelt the channel name wrong, and the amount of abuse I got for spelling your channel name wrong. So for everyone listening, how'd you spell it? How do people find you? So they can actually enjoy watching
there's actually
sketches.
two ways.
I actually heard that one and I was going, Rick, that's awful. That's
Would you leave in the back comments?
That's awful. I was one of them.
Led the charge.
This is shocking. F0RE BR0THES. So you were very close.
So that is your
very
golf
close.
account.
That is
Yes.
And then you have a main channel account as well, which is then F0UR.
Yeah.
That's the one you said, yeah.
So people would have still found you, wouldn't they? Sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So how did this all start? Like, how did the golf content, golf comedy content start? Like, obviously, there's three of you. There is four brothers, though, isn't there?
Yes.
There is four.
Yeah, there is
There is
four of
four.
us. Con.
Con was with us for a very long time. And then he was with the sketches. I mean, we've been doing this now for 4 years, the sketches. And then the comedy sketches has been 1.5 years.
Golf.
Sorry, the golf comedy sketches. Yeah. And he just wanted to kind of do his own thing. And with the when we started the golf stuff as well, we took it really serious. Us three. And Connor is a social golfer. He loves the drinking and all that, but not really the serious. So, but the sketches started. How did it was you, wasn't it? We did a little dance. You came to us with a dance.
Yeah, so the main channel we started first, obviously 4 years ago, and that was, I saw a trend. I mean, we were in lockdown at the time. I saw a trend, and I said to the lads, like, "Come on, let's do it. It'll be funny. It'll be banter." And they were like, "Nah, like that's just cringy.
No.
Like, we don't want to do it. We're. And then a few days went, and I was like, "Come on, let's do it. Like, let's do this trend." And
So you were 16 at the time.
I was 16. Yeah. Obviously,
just
these
before
boys.
you were starting college.
I was. Well, I just finished GCSEs.
Yeah.
Just finished GCSEs. And
little
then,
young pup.
And then we did it. We did the trend. These boys finally they got round to it, and then just from there we just kept going because we were in lockdown, and
It took us 4 hours to do that dance. Mom and Dad were stood in the garden filming it. 4 hours. We had our pants rolled up and all that. It's a weird dance, but then that took off. And then to be fair, at the same time that we got into the golf, but that was off cam, and then it just felt like such a natural blend to start doing. Because where we were so bad, the sketches felt so relatable to do the golf stuff. And where there was so much ideas coming for the golf, we were like, we could do like its own channel, like do its own golf channel.
So how much time now do you spend between like the main comedy channel, the sketches, and the golf channel? Is the golf channel now more your main focus?
Yeah.
Across YouTube as well, I think so. We're really trying to push it. Just because it's just so...
I'd say it's almost like 80%.
Plus, the TikToks are quite quick to do, I think.
Yeah,
like,
that's
we
the
can
thing.
bust out, 7 to 10 sketches in a day if it's well planned and organised, whereas the YouTube obviously takes a lot longer and, as you know, and the editing and stuff. So it definitely feels like we're spending more time on the golf than just,
So then you really only just started playing golf before COVID and stuff, or had you been playing golf?
It was
a
a year before, and it was complete coincidence. I started playing it with my best mate, who'd been playing for years, and then these two just started playing. It was like every week we were just playing, and it got to a point where we were rushing our main channel sketches to go out and play golf, and I think we did that for a year. And we were 31 handicapped, like really, hardly breaking 100. And then I think it was January, because I remember it being so cold, we filmed our first golf TikTok. And because we happened to have a second account on TikTok. And then, it did all right. I think the first one did all right. And then we just thought, you know what, as we're playing so much golf, we may as well film it.
Yeah.
We're filming anyway, we may as well just film some golf.
Yeah.
We filmed some videos this week, and again, we've had loads of time out of the golf, like hours and hours and hours of time on the golf. You're certainly not 31 handicappers anymore.
No.
I mean, that was you at your peak, I guess, at 31 handicap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're much worse. You're much worse now. You're not
Scratch
nowhere
golfers now.
near as good. No, you lads have genuinely. You lads, I remember. I think from the early sketch, obviously, your sketches aren't always showing you actually playing golf, is it?
Yeah.
A lot of the time, it's actually not even really hitting any shots.
Yeah.
In the sketches. And as you started to make long form content, I think I remember seeing you make the video with Pete quite early on at the Belfry.
Yeah.
And
That was our first YouTube video.
Was it? Well, there you go. That's how I started. I almost watched your first one. I was looking at it and going, wow, these guys aren't great yet. Let's be honest,
It's true. It is true.
And then literally the progression you've made over the last 2 or 3 years has been vast.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I mean, all of you are really, really good golfers now. I mean, like the distance you hit at deck is scary.
Yeah.
Like you absolutely ripped some this week. Like
Been distant.
I'm sorry, did I get the names wrong there? No, I was looking at your younger brother, Ronan. But then you're driving today. We had this match. You were like, Pete, you were on a frozen rope.
There it is.
Weren't you?
He loves that.
It's not that often.
On a
though.
string,
it's
you
not
might
that
say.
often.
And then Paddy, I think
Oh, you don't have to
Paddy's
say it.
just
You don't have to say
Paddy's
it.
just
You don't have to
what was
say it.
really interesting, I feel like you really sandbagged me this week. So like the start this week, you were pretty shocking.
I was terrible.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't hit a ball.
pretty horrendous.
I'm going for a swing change.
Yeah. Well, today it worked. Like you played
would, yeah.
really nicely
Yeah.
again today. So
That was
He actually did play the best I've seen you in a long time today.
yeah.
Today he was striping some
I
shots.
mean, I was up early at the range.
You
I had to
really
do
wanted it
something.
today.
I had to do something.
Yeah.
So what's like genuinely, what's your plan with your actual golf games? Like, are you just going to keep having fun? Have you got ambitions to get a lot better? Like, do you feel is there some risk if you get almost too good? Like,
I think
do you
that
end up
is
getting a bit unrelatable for your type of
100%.
content?
I think the reason we've done, like, I think the reason we found this niche is because it's relatable, right? Especially in the UK scene, there's not too many groups that are relatable. Like a lot of them, like yourselves and Pete, are really, really good. And there's definitely that doubt if we in the next few years get to like single figures or even scratch, that touch goes. But I think we're just gonna play it by ear. We're gonna keep playing. There's not really any goals in our head,
there's
is there?
definitely that, and I love that side of it. At the same time, I do think though we do really want to get better. Like I really want to be able to especially like this trip, seeing you hit and everyone hit. And seeing them, you want to get better. Also, us guys, it's the competition.
Yeah.
So, I do not want these two to get better than me, and that means I need to get better. But then over time,
It's already happened.
well, not quite. So. But then it's like that whole thing, isn't it? It's like you'd lose the relatability.
That's really interesting. I don't think that's the most relatable thing. I would say the most relatable thing is the
chirps.
The bond, the chirps in, the banter. Like you can have that if you're 30 handicapper, but you can also have that if you're scratch as well.
Of course you
Like like us today.
Of course you can.
Like
I do think it slightly shifts the better golfer.
sure.
But it all depends in the actual group of friends that you're playing golf with.
Absolutely.
Like, there's certain groups that I'll play golf with, and there's no kind of banter or chirping going along at all.
Yeah.
And there's other groups where it's like acceptable. And it's weird if you don't.
Yeah.
And
Do you like that? Are you
I'm not. No, it's not me. You know.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
Because you were really giving it.
I really felt like you were rubbing off on me this week.
Oh,
And to the point where I actually played a match against Pete after playing with you guys today. I was giving some. Lads, I have really learned some new tricks off you this week. I really have. Like, you know, I'm quite proud of myself. I think I'm going to
It's the
start.
best thing when you hit someone with a good chirps, then they're like duffer shots and you're like, got it.
Yeah. I mean, I think to some degree, almost like you've got to just be able to back it up though, because you can't be giving it all and then end up hitting a bad shot yourself and things like that. So
that's I tell you what, when you do give someone something and then you like big fat or it's the worst feeling because you know it's fuel for them. Then
how does the humor cross over to transatlantic, to American followers? Like, I feel like your audience will be very UK based. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Like, does it translate over to American humor? Because it is different, isn't it? I would
is.
say the kind of equivalent of you guys is like St. Andre's over in America.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make quite kind of almost very high end content, comedy sketches.
almost cinematic sketches.
I mean, some of the camera work they have is
Crazy.
outrageous. But different audiences. But I feel like, do you have comments from Americans going, I kind of don't get this, or do you just feel like you've not tapped into the American audience yet?
We are heavily dominated. I think we're 70% UK. But then, funnily enough, our next biggest territory is the US. So, I mean, we'd love to grow the US audience. Obviously, there's so many golfers over there, but whether we are too sarcastic, whether we're too British, I think we've been doing it for a year and a half. So we'd love to go over there and just start seeing if even being on your channel, like
we've been over
interesting.
a couple times, and the creators that we've met have seemed to have watched the sketches. St. Andre, we spoke to them, and they have seen them. And so for us, I feel like it's comedy that can be. It's certain sketches I think could work, and then certain that we do. It's but I do think it could work. I guess it's just trying to actually get it out there. I'd have no idea how to even try and get the content going out there. But.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in my kind of career. A lot of my audience has always been US heavy.
Yeah,
really.
And like from very often, like even now on my main YouTube channel, like 48% of my audience is from the US, 20% less than 20% is from the UK, and I think really it's just volume.
Less than 20%.
Yeah, less than 20%.
Oh wow!
But it's like it's like 48% US, 20% UK. Then it's Canada, then it's Australia, then it's all different countries around the world. The kind of percentage starts to go down.
Crazy, yeah.
But I think that's just because certainly at the time when I first started making YouTube, there wasn't many American creators.
Yeah.
So a lot of US audiences had to watch UK creators.
Yeah.
There really wasn't
really
any.
true.
And I think to some degree, my presenting style works in the US.
Yes.
It's not overly sarcastic. But I always worried that sarcasm doesn't quite land in America. I really think it does. I really think it does. I think they're unbelievably sarcastic in their humour.
Yeah.
It's some of the dry humour sometimes doesn't quite hit where it needs to hit. But I definitely think your content will, as it continues to grow, and I know you've made some content out in the States recently. I think if that was the tactic, keep making content out in the States, and I think you'll definitely help grow that kind of, what do you say, it was at 10% or something?
Yeah, I would say it's around. I think that's really interesting to say that. So before we went over to Vegas in November, I think our audience was about 12% America.
Right.
And then when we started posting the content after about a month, it jumped up to 24.
Oh, great.
So it felt like just being over in America helped that.
There's just more golfers.
Yeah.
Basically, there's just more
so
golfers.
true.
And I think if they looked at one of your sketches, and all due respect, if you're filming it in November on a cold, wet, horrible looking golf course in the UK, which happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Someone in America goes, it's not for me, that.
Yeah.
And if it's in the sunshine, you're wearing shorts, t-shirt, like they go, this must be content that's aimed for me a little bit more.
Yeah.
How, just for our listeners and our viewers, how does a piece of comedy, a sketch, come together? Like, talk us through that process. So we're making some content tomorrow together, which I can't wait to do. Some sketches. Like, how does the go from idea? Where do you get the idea from? How do you film it? Does it go through different verification checks of brothers, like a laughter check? Like, how does that all work?
So I mean, really, we used to do a lot of brainstorming, but I
Yeah.
think now where we're kind of getting to a point where we're all kind of hitting our roles, I feel like I'll tend to just sit down on my own and just, it really is just thinking about what's happened in that week. I'm not trying to think of anything new. I'm literally, I mean, for argument's sake, because we do a lot of, I mean, for the golf, you know, we'll tend to go out after office on Tuesday maybe and play with the lads. And so I'm literally thinking in that round, okay, what happened? What was funny about that round? And potentially someone left their club on hole 4. We were at hole 6. They had to drive all the way back. I'm like, oh, that's quite. So then it's like, okay, that's an idea that I think is quite relatable. Then how do you make that? Because it's not then the idea. How do you make that funny? What's the punchline? But it's that really. And normally it's quite quick. And I don't know. I just think it can be quite easy. It's like what you said today, the longest drive thing. You think about that and it's, oh, that's so true. Like, why is it that someone who's hit it 50 yards longer if they're not on the fairway? And then I guess where we've done it for so long, the punchlines can come pretty quick, because I know that how that one would go would be, I would be like expecting that I've beat you in the longest drive because I'm 50 yards ahead or whatever, but you're on the fairway, so you come with the rules, and then I'm getting angry and I start swearing. And that's, I guess, where we've done it a lot, we'd know that that's what would work. But
You seem to always play the character. Just like, do you almost, it sounds daft, obviously your own people, but do you have like almost like characters
For sure.
you kind of slip into? Because you obviously have this kind of almost quite aggravated, quite confident character, almost like the biggest chirper. You know,
I feel like,
I mean, that is you in real life as well, like from what I've seen, unless all this is an act.
I think we work so well. I've always loved how, because I think I can play that kind of crazy or angry or weird guy, and I think Pad and Deck like really play the straight guy, so the guy that's the normal person who the viewer is, you know. So when I'm being weird or I'm going, you know, like, you know, on the golf course, I'm playing I can't even think of a character, but you know,
like the out there guy, or
so
like the weird
what
guy.
have we done recently? If the starter was honest.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of being the starter who's been a bit crazy, and then you're just like the straight. And so we fit into the roles, I think, really well. Like Decky's faces, Paddy's faces, it really fits. But we definitely have the characters that we go to.
I would say, to add to that, like to Ronan's credit, and I think Declan, from what I've seen over the last 4 years, has definitely grown into that as well. Because Connor used to be like perfect at that. He's very funny in his own right. Obviously, he doesn't do it anymore. But Ronan is very, very, very good at on the spot thinking of something. Like, there'll be someone in this room that could happen. You think of a sketch, think of an idea, and right, say this, and like a sketch that, you know, could reach 1 million people could be created, filmed, edited within 5 minutes. You are very good at that, and I would say
Cheers,
Declan's
man.
also getting very good at that as well. No, but the reason I say that is to answer Rick's question. Is over the 4 years, the characters that you've done, and also you've done as well, like people now know them for. Like, as you say, it's that, you know, of the arrogant person, the crazy person. And so it's, I think, easier to fall into that because it's familiar.
I don't know if you've seen any of our sketches on our main channel, but we have a dad character, and as soon as I put on the dad hat and the dad coat, I don't know what it is, but I fall into it, and I just you know.
Well, like so my wife, who's not particularly into golf, but she'll like send me share memes and sketches of yours that you've posted that's come up on her feed, and she's like, so relatable, because it's like you used to do husband and wife scenes as well, and obviously the dad scene and this like I think, and you were mentioned they were all like clips from what you experienced as father and with your dad anyway, weren't they really? So it's all kind of, the content was already there, you're just extracting it again, making it funny. And then so you film it on phones?
Phones,
just iPhones.
We actually tried to, there was a time we got proper cameras, proper mics, and we tried to ramp it up, and we didn't see a difference.
It didn't work.
And to be honest, it was just so easier to have a phone. Yeah. And we were like, let's just get a phone.
And then do you, let's say you're going out as a sketch, you just film each other little bits when you kind of spin things around, you don't particularly take a crew out for you? I know obviously
no, it's just us. Again, Jack and Sam, them lads are all YouTube. The TikTok is very like, it's crazy how it's very low. It's literally us three. If there's ever a scene, but there's hardly ever a scene where, again, with the short form, you'd never really want 3 bodies in it because you're quite far away. So it's always usually just 2 in a shot, and so it's perfect.
What's your individual kind of funniest sketches that you do? I know you speaking to Deck today. You said the one from the driving range scene, which was quite an early one. Where was it your brother that got in the driving range?
Con got in.
Got in that.
That was
I've
one
actually,
of my
you know what?
favourites
That's one of the ones that I'm actually not familiar with it.
Oh really?
really?
Yeah, I need to go and have a look for that.
Yeah.
I think also I think one of the first ones I think we saw you comment on was when you get past the 9th hole and the halfway hut is shut.
Yes,
I think that was a funny one because that's so
really funny
relatable
one.
when you get round and the halfway house isn't open.
It happened today with us.
Yeah.
So we
really?
were filming out on the golf course today. It's late on in the afternoon. I mean, Fairmont have been brilliant with us, but it's late in the afternoon, not many golfers out. And you know the touchscreen TV at the top?
Yeah.
We were like trying to go on to the next hole and it said, an advert popped up on the screen.
Yeah.
And it was like, next hole, halfway house, get your coffees, your warm food. We're freezing. We're like, oh my God, can't wait to get a coffee at the halfway house. And like, we drove up and it shut.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
the worst
feeling.
feeling.
It's like, what the hell is going on? You know, the thing
It
is,
is, oh.
we feature the halfway house so much in our content anyway, and doing like sausage roll reviews
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Like when you post it, I was like, that is so true. Like, if a halfway house is shut, it's devastating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Normally there's stuff out of annoyance. Something that annoys you tends to actually be quite funny. Like that, it's quite an annoying thing to happen, but actually it's so relatable.
Yeah.
And it turns into such a funny thing.
I feel like though you've got so much kind of growth in the space as well because there's so many things that can go on. Like there'll be a point where I'm sure you'll be scratching your head and going, oh, I think we've done with ideas, guys. Or that's us. Let's move to tennis. But like, I feel
Get paddle going.
there's so many things that you can go down. Like,
But I really do believe that you'd never run out because then there's so many different variations of something. There's so many different. It's not just playing it; it's then watching golf. You know, when we've now been to a few events this year, and it's relatable sketches about watching golf, or even collaborations. There's so many different ways you can do a sketch and variations, and you can have the same sketch, do it as a POV, do it as different shots, and it's a whole different thing. So I don't know. I feel like you could go on, for a long time.
how would you describe yourself to people? So let's say someone said, "What do you do for a living?"
Hilarious.
Well,
Just absolutely.
No, nice, mate. Nice.
and humble. What do you describe? Like, if you had to say what you do now,
What in terms
Oh,
of
I
like
see.
job?
Content creators.
and then
Yeah.
someone said, "Okay, what do you mean, content creators?"
I always find that a really difficult question.
That's why I'm asking it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because I think it's easy for me.
yeah.
I make YouTube content about golf, and they go, "Oh, okay. What do you do?" Okay.
I say comedy sketches.
Yeah, I say comedy.
I say we make like comedy sketches.
The reason why I asked that is because then is the following question not okay? Make me laugh then. Like, I feel like a lot of comedians. I don't know if you've had this yet, but I feel there's a lot of pressure on comedians to make everyone laugh around them. So if you're meeting them, have you experienced that at all yet?
To be fair, you said that today at the start of the video.
What did I say?
You said, which I thought was quite interesting. You were like, you said something about the funniest golf creators online or something like that. And straight away I was like, oh, okay, there's a bit of
That pressure.
we've
now.
got to live up.
Gotta
Yeah, we've got
perform.
to live up
But
to it.
I think there is like I don't know. If I met a comedian,
Sure. Yeah.
I had
yeah,
dinner
yeah.
with a comedian, I'd be like, okay, make me laugh.
Yeah,
Tell me-
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't say it to him because
Yeah.
That's the
got more
thing.
manners, but-
I feel like I don't know about you lads, but if we meet someone and then they're like, "Oh, we're a big fan of the comedy sketches," not that they would say like make us laugh, but in my head I'm like, okay, they're expecting something here. Maybe try and
Really?
no, a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't want to just be like, "Oh, nice man." I'd be like, "Oh, I don't know," like just try and make them chuckle or something.
Yeah.
I get what you're
That's
saying.
really-
It's
yeah.
never just a.
I feel like you'd almost have to, like, into some degree. I mean, I feel like you're good at that character. You'd kind of say, "I love watching your stuff as well," or something on.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. You'd twist it in a way that
I feel like I've actually said that. To be
You
fair.
probably
are-
have.
yeah,
I
you
feel like
are
I've
good at
actually
that.
gone,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
I like your stuff too, man."
But I think, like I say, I think there's a lot of weird like pressure on a comedian that's like, all right, dance,
Yeah.
make me laugh, but maybe that's not the case.
I would actually say I don't feel like that as such, but then I I know my role then within what we do, and it definitely isn't like the comedic approach. So for me, when people come up, it's more of like I've seen your stuff, but it's interesting that you feel like that. But obviously, I would say you play that comedic role. I didn't know that. I
do love to just like make people laugh though. Like,
that's really interesting.
I get such a kick out of it. So
yeah,
if someone has seen it, it is like then just trying to get them to laugh or chuckle or something.
You've got you ran a very, very successful golf day at the Belfry this year or last year?
This year, mate.
Which looked incredible.
That was epic.
Like you seem to have like such a great time. Loads of it looked like a lot, just almost like like-minded individuals came.
Yeah. That was
again. Was that like a lot of pressure? Like you've never done that before.
That was
That must have been quite like again. How many people did you have turning up?
128. 128. That was. I mean, unbelievable, and organisation that Paddy put into it was crazy. But it's all fine until then you see the people and you see the faces and you gather them round and everyone's looking at you and it's the expectation.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very nerve-wracking, and you did feel like you almost had to perform, but it was brilliant. And like everyone that came, very like-minded like us, very relatable golfers, and that was so cool. That was so.
And you've got another one planned soon, right?
Yeah,
Celtic Manor.
Yeah.
Celtic Manor.
September.
Literally a couple of weeks now, 3-4 weeks.
Can people still get involved?
They well, funnily enough, we ran the tickets. We technically sold out, but we will be doing another kind of resale. The actual this week we're recording it, so like Friday.
Okay.
What
can people expect?
So it's 2 days. It's basically a team event on the first day, and then obviously we love doing our majors. So every time there's an actual major, whether it's the Masters, the US Open, the Open, we will then do our version of that where we just do a 1v1v1, and it seems to be our most popular videos. So we wanted to recreate that with our audience by involving them into like a fan major. So we've got the trophy, we've engraved it with the first winner, Jack Walker. And we're going to do that again. So we've got the team event on the first day, which is a bit more chilled out. There's alcohol and music, there's food, there's everything, all of that. But then the second day we're playing the Celtic Manor, so we're on the 2010 on the second day for the major. Shotgun start. It's going to be great. Like, it's so fun.
And do you guys play, or do you just kind of shoot around in buggies?
We play the second day.
Yeah, the first day we don't. We sort of host it, and we're
on actually. Get on it, folks. Get on it.
One for you, one for me.
Yeah, that's it.
We're actually on individual holes. So I was on a beat the bro instead of beat the pro. It's beat me.
Nice, I like that.
Rowan's on longest drive, and then Pad is Pad's on the putting green. Giving shots to people, getting them in a game.
I mean, because we love to drink on the course. Like,
we do love a drink.
So that first day is very much like have drinks, loads of food included. But then again, like Paddy said, where we love to play, like the major, we zone in. We have such a good day with everyone on the first day. We try and stay up the latest we can. But then the second day is like, right, we won't talk to you. We want to win that fan major. We want to lock in.
I feel like you three could kind of trick everyone, drink non-alcoholic beer all day.
Oh, good idea.
Completely fuel them up.
Act drunk. Like,
so the second day you come out fresh.
I'm really feeling it here.
Then go out.
6 a.m.
If you're lost then. What's the future look like? What do you think it's all going to look like in the next kind of 3 to 5 years? And it's a deep question.
Yeah.
So late in the day, but is that something you have plans?
I really like the first tournament we did was so cool because it was like actually like you see a number on a screen. I'm sure like better than most. Like you see a number on a screen and you can get lost in that, like a little bit like you just see digits. But actually when you see 120 people right there who watch your content, they enjoy what you do, they get on with you, because
they're paid to be there.
They've paid the money, which it's very expensive. It's not cheap, and at the same time, it's like, especially with YouTube now, like they know me like Pad Stoff or Ronan or Deck, and they know about the majors and everything like that. I really think there's something there long term with the events, like increasing it next year. We've done 2 this year. It'd be cool to do a few more next year, maybe increase that. I think just building on the community. I think there's a real strong community.
We've really found, we've really fell in love with the whole golf thing.
Yeah.
I think, we got into it super fast, but, the bug hasn't gone, and we just love this whole golf scene, the comedy side of it. like just bringing people together, relatable. Because again, I feel like that doesn't happen for relatable. So many DMs we get is, can we come if we're 20 handicapper? And it's like, that's who, that's kind of the main.
Absolutely.
So
exactly
it's like, and the whole side thing we love. So yeah, 3 years, I still think just definitely golf and just trying to get clothing lines and just, loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
What does your family think of it all? Like,
They're really supportive.
It's like, if you go around for Sunday lunch, you just talk about golf content creation. My
dad also loves golf. So us four and dad are talking, and mum's there like,
Mum hates it. Mum hates it.
But no, mum and dad have always been. Mum and dad were the ones that kind of told us to kind of quit our jobs and really dive into it. And as it turns out, mum's actually on socials herself. So mum's a lawyer, and she's actually now got 500,000 followers on TikTok as the legal queen. So like,
that's what she's called.
The legal queen.
Yeah.
And she's full time on socials, so like they're all obviously bought in. They love it, and
the outer family always think it's a hobby. They always say, "Is it still going?"
I bet the outer family are a bit worried about coming around to the house. Like just have a camera,
constant camera.
There's cameras everywhere. Mum's there, we're here. We all love it.
Like, imagine if you had a family gathering, and then the next couple of days you started bringing out family sketches, and like your Uncle John or something's like, I'm sure that's about me. I'm sure.
I think that's happened.
I get worried about that because funny things can happen, as Paddy says, like tonight. And I always worry. I'm like, because it's always jokes, but I'm like, would Matt take it the wrong way if we did this? Or like, me and my missus will go and with a dinner, and I'll come back. I'll wake up, and I'm like, do you think your friend would mind if I like maybe rinsed her for the way she did this or did that? And no one ever minds, but it's always a little bit like, I hope they take it as a joke.
Yeah, because you obviously you are literally using them as material.
I'll try and change the rev share a little bit. Change the name a little bit,
And then we're going out film some content tomorrow.
Yes.
What's the content plans?
If you don't cancel again.
Cancel, Jesus. Some of us have schedules that you got to lock into these schedules. We're not just willy-nilly walking around with a camera or with a phone, just spinning it around on each other. So we've got some sketches lined up.
Yes.
How many are we looking at doing?
We had like 3 ideas. I mean, we could get all them ideas done. It would honestly take us them 3 ideas, locking them in. I genuinely think 15 minutes.
I reckon they bang as well. Seeing Rick Shiels on a comedy sketch.
How do you reckon your acting skills are?
I always have this running joke that I was terrible at school. Like horrendous. I didn't enjoy school. I was not good at maths. I wasn't good at English. But I came out of school with 2 main qualifications. I got an A in PE. So physical education, and I got an A* in drama.
Really?
So somehow I turned that into a job to some degree. Acting and sport to some degree. But
you're building yourself up now.
I don't know if I'm that great when I have to deliver certain lines. But let's see how it goes.
Let's see.
I think it'll be sound.
I think it'll be sound. Are you excited for it?
I'm excited to. When I do a collaboration with other channels or other creators, I'm excited once the content goes out and seeing the fans' reaction.
Sure.
Like, it's like, oh my God, like, I like them and I like them and they've come together.
Because
I love that in real life. Like, if I see, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but a sports person I like, and they go and do a collaboration with an actor that I like. I'm like, oh my God, like it feels like 2 worlds coming together. And that happens so often in social media, doesn't it? Which is great for collaboration.
Definitely.
I think when the sketch that we've done goes out, I think it'll I can see it doing really well. Just because, as you say, there's that novelty aspect of the golf community, especially online on socials. But then, as you say, coming together, I think it's really cool.
I think a sketch that then has your face that pops in 3 seconds. It's gonna Your acting skills just have to be on point there. That's the only thing.
I'll really try my hardest. It's weird. Like in front of camera, I'm outrageously comfortable. I mean, I've done doing it for 12 years. Like I don't worry about things like that. But I think it's delivering those lines.
Yeah.
Like you have to tell me. Was that right or not?
Did that take a while to get to that point, or was it pretty much instant?
Go on YouTube, go on my channel, go on
Yeah.
oldest videos, and you tell me if it, it took a while. I was horrendous at first.
Really?
Yeah, really bad. But the style was changed. Like, I was imitating what I was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was either golf coaching presenting that takes place on
Sure.
BBC or Sky.
Yeah.
And it was very prim and proper, and it was like,
yeah.
you know, it was like, hi, I'm Rick Shiels, I'm a PGA golf coach.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to help you. Like, and that is how it was delivered.
Yeah.
It's not delivered like that anymore, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Like, times have changed.
Do you think that's because the people playing golf has changed, or do you just think that's
I think presenting as a whole has changed, hasn't it?
Fine.
Like, you look at probably news presenters is the one that's changed the least, but you look at breakfast TV compared to, you know, maybe 20 years ago. I'd say that Big Breakfast was pretty out there. wasn't it? But like certain channels,
Yeah.
you're looking at me like you don't know what Big Breakfast is, which is a bit worrying.
2003? Remember, Rick?
But like, you know, I think presenting on social media has changed. And like I say,
Yeah,
doing it for 12
100%,
years, I've
yeah.
released 2,500 videos. Like when that, you know, I don't think about what I'm about to say. We just turn the camera. And it's like, okay, let's roll. Like, I know, you know, this, I've not planned questions. It's just it's a chat. It's a conversation. It's flowing. Like, you know, I'm sure we could. They're just interesting questions that I want to know. And similar with like presenting on YouTube, it's become a little bit more relaxed now. If I fluff my line, we're not going to do the whole thing again. Really, it's kind of like, well, let's just keep rolling. Like, there's no point in doing it. So
true.
But back in the day, 100%. I remember the very, very first video, one of the first videos I ever filmed, a coaching video. I hired this videographer for an outrageous amount of money, right? Because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. So I hired this videographer, and I had a plan, and I did it for a day rate, and it was outrageously expensive. And we came up with an agreement that if we filmed as many videos as we could, however many videos we filmed, he would edit them. So I was like, right. In my head, I literally went in there thinking I was going to film 50 videos that day because it was so expensive, right? So I arrived there, crack of dawn. Like 3 minute, 5 minute videos. So all teaching
Not
videos.
hour long majors, no.
Not how long majors. Like 3 to 5 minute coaching videos. I had them all planned out. I had them all scheduled because you've got to run a schedule. And
A little dig there, all right.
likewise, that didn't go to plan either. So I arrived super early, and this guy set up his camera, and he was taking ages and getting everything set up and this and the other. And I did the first coaching video. It was like a little bump and run shot around the green. And I nailed it. First time, I was like, I'm really happy with that. And he was like, okay. He had his headphones. Yeah. A plane kind of just went across at halfway point. I was like, all right, I'm all right with that. He went, no, do it again. So I did it again, and obviously inevitably you mess it up. So I was like, right, I'll do it again. Did it the third time. Oh, there's a mower. I can hear a mower on the headphones. I'm like, so we wait for the mower. Did it again. Did it again. Did it like 15 times. And every time you did it, I was getting worse at it. And then in the end, we filmed like 5 videos, right? And he edited them because it took so long. But he came from the TV world.
Right.
Effectively, I employed a bloody professional TV videographer, which I didn't know at the time. And I almost did 5 videos and never continued. Like, genuinely, it cost me so much money at the time. I was like, I thought, well, if I make 50 videos, it could, because YouTube wasn't monetized at the time.
Yeah.
But it was all about bringing in.
Really?
It wasn't
Just clients.
monetized for the first 2 or 3 years of making content for me. But it was all about bringing clients in so I could coach.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought, well, if I brought in 50 clients from these 50 videos, this is going to wash its face. It's fine.
Okay.
The fact I did 5 videos, and I literally was almost like, I don't think this is for me. And it was almost then I started, well, what about if I just filmed it on my phone? What about if I just filmed it on my iPad? What about if I learned to edit a little bit myself? And I did at first. And what happens if a plane goes past? I'm not going to stop. Like, why should we stop if a plane goes past? And I think just over time, kind of those standards of TV production have softened on YouTube a lot, haven't they? Like you said, now you couldn't have filmed on your phone 20 years ago because the phone quality wasn't good enough. Now phone quality is as good as some of the main cameras that we use. It's outrageous.
So true.
Did you go from obviously you were saying like all the coaching stuff you were doing, and then obviously now you do a lot of course vlogs. Was there a moment you thought, I'll just take the camera out on the course and just film me playing around, or like? It
happened pretty early.
Okay.
So like I say, it was all coaching for a long time, and then I accidentally stumbled into equipment reviews. So when Nike first brought out their red driver, I managed to get my hands on it ahead of embargo, which I didn't even know what the word embargo meant at the time. I said, can I borrow this driver? I'm just going to go and hit some shots in my teaching bay. I went there, had 10 minutes with this driver, videoed everything. 2 days later, released the video. Nobody had ever seen this driver in the world.
No
And Rick here at a driving range in Trafford Centre just leaked all of the images and everything of this driver, and it got decent views. I was like, okay, I'll maybe try that again. And so I started doing equipment videos, and I actually really enjoyed equipment videos. So that was kind of how equipment videos happened.
Yeah.
And then,
Did you get told off at all for that?
no, because it was kind of like so under the radar.
Right.
And when I say it got a lot of videos, it wasn't like hundreds of thousands. It might have got 1,000 views, which at the time was like, oh my God, I broke the internet. Like, going viral with 1,000 views.
This is it.
come on, Claire, we're going to Bahamas. But again, at the time, like, you weren't making money from that. It was just more eyeballs, more, and more, followers, subscribers, etc. And then going out on the golf course kind of just felt natural. Like, it probably started off with coaching videos out on the golf course, how to play certain holes. I was like, well, actually, let's go and play with golf with one of my mates. Like, I think one of my very first on-course videos, and I think you've met him, Andy Carter.
Yeah.
One of my first ever on-course interviews with Andy Carter, like 11 years ago. And then probably Pete hit the scene maybe about 10 years ago, so I started making some content with Pete. And another mate of mine, Matt Fryer, started to come around, and we started making on-course, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew.
Right.
So that's kind of... And
it is mad how we've had chats like this before, but how you have tried like everything. Like I remember we first met you and you were like, I've tried 2 videos a day. I've tried, the 2-minute videos, the hour-long videos. Like, it is crazy how like you've literally tried and tested so many different ways to do it.
But it also changes so much as well. Like if you'd have said to me 5 years ago, hour-long videos on YouTube are going to be banging, I'd be like, you what? You're having a laugh. There's not a chance. Like, there's no way hour-long videos are going to work. And now it's hard to find videos that are less than an hour on YouTube. I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I think for the audience, how do they consume that much content?
Well, that's the most interesting point that I always think. Like there's a trend. The attention span is decreasing with TikTok, Instagram Reels. You just swiping. But then, as you say, these hour-long videos on YouTube with golf, they're getting longer and longer. I mean, I saw a video on. It's done very, very well. It was like 2 hours or just over 2 hours. And I'm like, obviously you watch it in periods, but I'm just like, it just feels like the longer videos are doing better now.
I think that the benefit of golf is it lends itself to length of videos.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a long sport.
Yeah.
To some degree, you've got to watch to get the outcome.
Yeah.
You've got to watch 9 holes, 18 holes, whatever it may be, to get said outcome. And naturally, you can stretch those out. I mean, our very, very first episode of Break 75, the very first episode I did probably about 3 years ago, it was 13 minutes long. In fact, it might have been less.
I think it was 8 minutes.
I
just a montage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really.
We got the idea from like watching David Dobrik. So did you ever watch David Dobrik?
Yeah.
5-minute vlogs he did.
Well, I think it was 4 minutes 37.
That's it. Yeah, it was a specific.
Every single video was 4 minutes 37 or whatever. I think that was 4 minutes 37, was it? David Dobrik?
I think it was like
420.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't 420 because of weed. It wasn't. No, I'm not having that.
13 minutes. Your Break 75.
It was the same time every time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4:19.
I think it was like
God,
4:19.
30 minutes though, so quick. Is that because you like went
so you
like
tried
quad,
that style?
quad?
And that was
And
no,
messed
that
up.
was starting in the car.
Heard it.
I just searched David Guetta.
Rick in his phone.
13 mins. That's crazy.
Break
It was
75.
420.
That's just the intro for us.
Have you ever
We
broke
haven't
it,
got out of
by
the
the
car.
way?
We're really getting on there, Rowan. Don't ruin this now. Come on, don't ruin this now. But that started with started in the car, started it, the intro of the video, like introducing the guests. Full 18 holes was like 9 minutes, 8 minutes, something.
Jeez.
That's mad.
8:55.
8 minutes 50.
Because we were, again, this going back to your point of trying different things, we were like, what about if we, not a David Dobrik style video, but how much can we almost cram into a really small window?
That's out of curiosity, how many views did that get? Do you have it there, Matt?
566k.
Wow.
So just over 500,000.
But that's like, but then the audience feedback was, we want to see a bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it 13 minutes. Then they're like,
Sure.
we want to see a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it 30 minutes. We want to see a bit more. What the hell? Can we really make it 45 minutes? We want to see a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it an hour. And then it's like, well, then the views were bringing in like 1 million views.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, let's make it longer. I think our longest one's like an hour 40. I think we've released an hour 40 video before.
That's the longest
I
video.
think so, from memory.
And the sausage roll reviews came, and it was just like,
Well,
right,
that's
here
it.
we go.
But I think that's what people wanted to start seeing a bit
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
They didn't just
personality.
want to see montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like bit of personality.
They wanted to see that bit of like boogie cam has become a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's become
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
big part of the content. And, you know, like say a sausage roll review or practice before you go out and play or whatever it may like
Yeah.
a description of the hole or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. And we're lucky in golf, I think that like that content lends itself to
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
like
So
Yeah.
true.
there's
Absolutely.
not like you couldn't do that for many other sports.
No.
Nah.
Yeah,
Football match
100%.
is 90 minutes, so
Yeah.
granted an hour and a half, but that's live. You're gonna watch everything.
Yeah.
Did
we
you,
love to start. We've started to do only a couple of times, but I really love watching it, and as we've said, like almost vlogging up to the course as well. So you know, if you stop off for a Mackey's breakfast, you actually record it, and then you record coming in and signing in, and even stuff like that. I know the Bob That Sports guys do that a lot. I love that. Like,
It's very
and it's
interesting.
like,
Yeah.
as you say, it's just getting longer and longer. But yeah,
Well, interestingly enough, we've started to go to 2 a week on the YouTube, and we've always on Tuesday, and we're now going to go Saturdays. But that Saturday video, we were trying to make shorter and quicker, and sort of go that Mr. Beast style route, because we want to bring in new viewers that haven't seen our channel. So we thought, is a new viewer that hasn't seen us going to really sit down for an hour and watch our videos? Probably not. 15 minutes is more sort of
Yeah.
attractive.
Well, that actually came
But
from-
now looking at it, it's so tough, isn't it? Because in golf, an hour is so popular. 15 minutes of a golf video maybe isn't the play, but it's so hard to what you do. What would you say to that?
I think Paddy was going to say it.
I was just about to say that I think that came originally from the conversation we had with Rick. So
Yeah.
we obviously met you for the first time at JCB Live, and I remember you saying there's different utilities to the different piece of content you do.
Yeah.
And are people who haven't never seen your content before really going to click on a video that's over an hour long? Maybe, but probably not. But they might click on a video that's 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Bit more
of
digestible.
course they will, and that's the thing. That's we have different pieces of content. Like our real long form content doesn't bring in the most subscribers for us, because again, you've got to be really invested. It's the coaching videos, it's
Yeah.
the shorter form content, it's the shorts themselves that
Yeah.
bring in
Yeah,
the audience,
yeah.
and they go, I quite like that bearded fella who made those videos,
Yeah.
and then they might watch another video and go,
Yeah.
I quite like that. That was
Yeah.
quite, and then they go, oh, he's playing at Royal Troon where the Open is this year. Okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Fully
yeah.
invested an hour and 20 minutes. I quite like. I was going playing Sawgrass. I always played with Bryson DeChambeau. He's played with Sergio Garcia or
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood. And then they're in there, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you've got to try and kind of work
Yeah,
on the
so
audience, because there's so many golf YouTube channels now.
Yeah.
many.
Like, it's wild. When I first started 12 years ago, there was three.
Yeah.
Like, 3 channels.
Yeah.
Now there's, I think, 1,000.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
they're
loads.
probably
What do you think, like, when you compare, because I look at all the US creators and the UK creators, do you think like it's massily, like there's just so many US creators now compared to UK?
There was for so long, there was no US creators.
Right.
For so long.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And all of
when
a
you-
sudden now, it's like they've really figured it out and gone, oh, right, yeah,
We can
we
make
can make
content.
content.
in golf.
We've got all these beautiful bloody golf courses. We've got
Yeah.
unlimited nice weather.
The weather.
But I think the groups work better over there.
Yeah, sure.
There's not many but the groups weren't a thing. Like,
Yeah.
there was not a single group content creators really in golf for ages. And then kind of Bro 5 came in. Do you remember
Okay.
that? Do you remember Bro
Bro
5?
No, I had a Bro 5.
This was pre-Good Good.
Oh,
Okay.
This was had Garrett in it. It had Brodie Smith in it.
Oh, yes.
It had
I did-
Stephen in it.
Yeah.
No way.
It had Matt in it.
I think
Really?
Seb was talking about this.
Micah.
Yeah.
And basically, they were trying to create Dude Perfect
Right.
in golf, really.
Right.
They all fell out. Massive falling out. Big public falling out. And off the back of that spawned kind of Good.
Right.
That was like
mad.
they were the
That was
first
the
group.
First group.
Yeah, proper first group.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, to some degree, you could argue like me, Pete, Fryer, and Carter were like almost the first group, but
Yeah.
we all
Because-
had our own individual
Yeah,
channels.
yeah.
It was collaborated a lot, and I
Yeah.
think
Was there ever a chat about getting
Not from me.
No.
Oh, not from you.
I've just never wanted the idea of a group personally. I don't like the idea that your destiny is in not only your own hands.
Fine.
Yeah.
Which I'd find really hard.
Yeah.
And again, I know like you guys, but let's say.
But then we're brothers, so
That's
it's
what I mean.
We're so used to
Yeah,
that because it's like we are brothers. Yeah.
But like even when what's your other brother called?
Connor.
Like once he left, did you think, oh geez, are we gonna have to change our name? We're gonna have to do this, that, and the other? Like,
Nah, never. I think. I mean, the 4 works perfectly.
Of course.
because it's as much as it's 4. It's 4 as in the golf term. So I think it works perfectly.
but I think I think
I think
sometimes
actually that
even
would've
like the
been-
even like the Bro 5 thing when it first came out, like that wasn't in their control that they all
Sure.
broke up.
Yeah.
And I always
Sure.
think there's a bit of tension
Yeah.
with like contracts, who's earning so much money, how do you split it? Obviously, you guys are brothers, so I'm guessing it's fairly straightforward. But like I say, when it involves other parties, it can get really messy, can't
I
it?
Definitely.
That's very true.
Completely agree. I mean, that's the one thing that I've had conversations with a lot of people and some friends as well, where working with my brothers over the last 4.5 years, because I used to work in hospitality on my own. I loved it. That was my thing. But the opportunity to work with my brothers, I couldn't pass up on. At the same time, it's been arguably the hardest challenge, but the most rewarding at the same time, because we've worked out a way for 4.5 years to create something, and I trust these guys and Connor like no one else. Like it's not like a friendship where you're like, oh, after a year of maybe you've upset them and they might walk away. Like at the end of the day, they're my brothers, so they're never. I will always trust them more than anyone.
If we were just mates, I think we would have.
I agree.
We would have stopped.
Yeah, that's what like. That's why it's always been my risk.
Yeah.
Like, and again, Good have done great, but they've had fallouts.
Yeah.
They've had
Yeah,
public
yeah.
breakups.
Yeah.
They've had Michael leave and Grant's
Grant's
leave
left,
and Luke's
yeah.
left, and like obviously they've replaced them. But it's like it's always that risk.
So
Yeah.
true.
And that I'm not saying that's going to happen with anyone else, but it you never know.
Yeah,
It's so-
Things
it's
happen.
so true. It's
Things
tough.
happen. So it's not going to happen with you guys, I'm sure.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. We're in for the long run.
And if you do, in 50 or 30 years, you can always do an Oasis style reunion.
Yeah.
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 And if you sold arena tours or
million
whatever.
tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's been awesome chatting with you. I'm sure we could chat for another 2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we've all got to go to bed because it's
Bet.
like 11 p.m. And I think we started shooting content at pretty much 8 o'clock this
Early
morning.
on.
6
days
a.m.
ago.
in Remember the Rain.
Days ago.
Thank you for having us on, Rick. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
honestly,
It's been nice.
been
It's
a
actually been
blast.
nice to kind of like chat to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you don't normally chat to me when you're not on camera, so it's nice actually to have an actual chat.
Still going.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow the 4 brothers on all the social media: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Missed any?
That's
No.
it. You've
Facebook? You
smashed
said you
it.
got Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Facebook,
Facebook,
yeah.
yeah.
So. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Lots more content coming. And it's been an awesome week here at the Sebon Golf Invitational at Fairmont St Andrews. That content is going to absolutely bang, and I think
Be
you're going to
awesome.
love it. And now it's time to go to bed
Night.
together.
Dun,
Bye.
dun, 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 dun.